You ever look outside your window, see a front yard full of grass, or drive through a neighborhood, glance at the well-manicured lawns, and wonder why they're there? Maybe you have, but there's a good chance you haven't. Well-manicured grass lawns have become ubiquitous with owning a home, and the average person may not even think twice about it. We're gonna learn how we got here and why lawns kinda suck. We weren't always so in love with our lawns. Matter of fact, the green, weed-free lawns that we've come to know and love didn't exist in America until the late 18th century. The area outside the front door of your average rural home would usually just be packed dirt or a garden containing flowers, herbs, and vegetables. However, the wealthy in England already had vast green lawns spread throughout their estate. You had to be wealthy to have a lawn because they were incredibly time-intensive to maintain. This was before modern herbicides and lawn mowers, so you literally needed to chop the blades of grass using a scythe and pull each individual weed by hand. The average person simply didn't have the leisure time to do it themselves, nor the money to hire someone else to do it. Anyways, wealthy Americans who had the opportunity to travel to England could not get the image of these immaculate lawns out of their head. They had to have them. There were just a couple problems with their lawn dreams. Our extreme climate was not very hospitable to the English grass seeds, and grasses native to America didn't grow as thick and uniformly as the lawns in England. They just didn't look the same. And ironically, the grasses that are actually native here are now considered to be weeds. By the time 1915 came around, the US Department of Agriculture and the US Golf Association started collaborating to try to find the right grass that would work in American climate. Yes, there was an entire government project for the wealthy to be able to have beautiful golf courses. 15 years or so later, they finally cracked the code. Soon after that came new pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers to work with this new grass. Then came the invention of the garden hose and the rotary mower. Now, the average family could have a lawn if they desired, but there still wasn't a huge demand for lawns until the end of World War II in the 40s. What really sparked the growth of lawns in America was Abraham Levitt, the founder of Levittown, the real estate company often credited with inventing the suburb. Levitt and his sons created the first suburbs where healthy lawns were already in place when the occupants moved in. They were given pamphlets about maintaining their lawns and told that it was their duty to do so. These Levittown homes were so popular that they became the gold standard for future developments, and grass lawns became ubiquitous with the idea of owning a home in America. Now, here's why lawns kinda suck. Maintaining a manicured, green, weed-free lawn typically requires fertilizer, herbicide, tons of water, mowing, and takes the place of native vegetation. Fertilizers and herbicides both run off into our waterways, contaminating our water supply and poisoning the aquatic wildlife. It's one thing when this happens with farming food that we actually eat, but this is for pure aesthetic value. The EPA estimates that 1/3 of all public water is used to water grass. The estimates rise as high as 70% in drier regions of the United States. Then there's the amount of money, time, and energy that it takes to maintain a grass lawn, not to mention that lawnmowers and weed whackers are kinda loud and annoying. This point may seem frivolous to some, but if you've ever been woken up by the sound of landscaping, you'll understand. The last point is that it removes sources of pollen like dandelions that are what we consider to be weeds now. About 35% of the world's food crops depend on pollination to reproduce. The point of this is not to shame anyone for having a well-manicured lawn. I mean, over 80% of homes in the US have grass lawns. If you exclude dry areas like Arizona and New Mexico, that percentage goes up even more. If your lawn truly brings you joy, then power to you. Just realize that there are low-maintenance alternatives like moss, clover, gravel, and even artificial turf. These are just a few of many alternatives showing you that you can still have a gorgeous yard without traditional grass. You should ultimately do what makes you happy and makes you feel good about yourself at the end of the day.